On today's show, we're feeling good because Fernando Tatis Jr. is just like that walk-off home run for our boy. On this podcast, we're going to be talking about that, saving the Padres for what was going to be a conversation basically entirely about the bullpen that hasn't been great lately. We will talk about them, and we got to talk about Dylan Cease having his second straight really, really good start, but it's a celebration podcast. You know what we're going to be talking about, so let's get into it.
You are Locked On Padres, your daily San Diego Padres podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Locked On Padres podcast, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day for Wednesday, May 14th. As always, I am your host, the San Diego Padres fan from New Jersey, Javier Reyes. You can follow me on Twitter /X and Blue Sky at Javipeno, Javiipeno. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to reach out on there and potentially have a chance to have your questions answered on the Monday mailbag. Today's episode, guys, we are recapping last night's very fun, very epic game against a team. Look, this is what's so great about baseball. Out of nowhere, you might just get some classics against teams you didn't expect. And that's what happened. Not only did you have the Rockies series, frankly, where you got a classic in the sense of us Padres fans for at least two of those games, just having a lot of fun with all the runs that were being scored. But then this Angels series has felt like, there's no hatred there. This isn't like the Dodgers and whatnot. It is a team from LA. There hasn't been that it's not a super competitive team in the Angels, but even still, these have felt like playoff games. That's how crazy they've been for the Padres. Just amazing, amazing stuff. And Fernando Tatis Jr. hitting the walk-off bomb. And it's really funny that Tatis has only had, I believe, like 2 career walk-offs for the Padres. His biggest moments have, in a lot of ways, come in the postseason, I feel like. You know what I mean? And he hasn't had walk-offs. And in my opinion, the biggest, late inning home run that he's had, I think he's had a couple. One was the Rockies shot. I know I'm getting off course, but still stick with me. I remember he hit that one home run. I think it was on Labor Day when he tied the game with 2 outs. It was with my friend. It was in 2020, back when the world ended. And it was so funny that he did that with 2 outs left. And because at the time we didn't fully know what Tatis was. We were really excited. He looked great, but we didn't know that this dude was going to be that, he was going to be that guy. I also remember the Astros home run in Houston, 3-2 count, hitting that one with the medallion spin. You had the walk-off recently, and then you have this one, an absolute masterpiece, staring at the ball, and we're going to break it all down on today's episode, guys. But first, I do want to take you through the course of the game, at least a little bit. I want to talk about just everything in this game, because just like yesterday's game, which we did critique a lot yesterday, we talked about the bullpen, we talked about the offense not stepping up when they needed to, we talked about some defensive lapses, right? Elias Diaz dropping that strikeout, right? Jake Cronenworth, maybe not a lapse, but the ball barely get past him, and then Tatis dropping a ball that yesterday's game really was a problem in a lot of ways. And this game did have some problems develop, particularly with the Padres bullpen, that we do have to talk about, because it wasn't great. You know what I mean? It was not great, the Padres bullpen last night, and it hasn't been good for a while. But first, let me just start with what, in my opinion, will be forgotten about in a lot of ways from this game, because, and that's not fair, by the way, and that's Dylan Cease. In this game, Dylan Cease was on. He goes 6 2/3 in this one, giving up 2 earned runs on 5 hits, 1 walk, and 10 Ks. It was really more like 1 run. He gave up I believe it was a walk or a single. I forgot what it was when he eventually gets taken out of the game. But that run ends up scoring, and it was Jeremiah Estrada, who immediately gives up a double, by the way, which was annoying. Yeah, it was a Luis Rengifo walk, and then Estrada comes in, gives up a Joe Adell double, on the first pitch, right down the middle practically. So it was really more like 1 run. But 10 strikeouts for Dylan Cease. I know that this Angels team isn't amazing, and they're very, very home run dependent. So they're either striking out or they're hitting home runs, and they don't really have the best players of the world, so it's not a very good team. But even still, Dylan Cease in this game, he generated 21 whiffs on his slider in this game. My man has just been like, you know what? I'm a free agent. I'm going back to fastball slider. If I'm lying, I'm dying. That's what I'm doing, man. I'm not messing with this, this third pitch right now. He ends up throwing just 3 knuckle curves, 2 sweepers, 2 changeups, and 1 sinker, right? Like, at least according to Baseball Savant, like, he was basically just going slider, fastball the whole time. And for you to get 21 whiffs against any team is really, really impressive on 32 swings. Like, that was absolutely outstanding. Another 4 from the 4-seam fastball, 25 in total. He looked great, man. He looked great. He basically only has one real mistake in this game, and that is in the top of the first inning, the Zach Neto homer, who's been kind of killing the Padres in a little bit this series, by the way. He's been a little bit annoying, but all in all, just an amazing start. And by the way, for all the people watching on the YouTube, I don't know why I decided to put this blanket on me. I just didn't have anything next to me, and I wanted to be dramatic and have something new. I don't know. I don't know why I'm doing this, but we're just doing it for today's episode because I'm so excited. Dylan Cease. Look, we have spent a long time talking about him, and I've talked about how in this show that, yes, there have been some struggles with him, but I really do believe that a majority of the struggles are something that you can just say, you know what? This is the type of pitcher that he can be sometimes. And I do think that you can attribute a lot of the struggles, particularly this year, to the fact that he'd been trying a new pitch mix. He was throwing a changeup a lot, and I think that it might have thrown his rhythm off. I do not think it's a coincidence that he has done a lot better ever since he kind of veered away from that changeup, because bottom line is the changeup is just not, it's not all that good for him, right? And I think that he was trying to add it. I think he'd been working on it, and we talked about this in spring training as well, as I try and like crack my back middle of the podcast. But it just hasn't been all that great for him. And you saw with the start of the season. And with this start by Dylan Cease, lowers his ERA again, really effectively in this case. And with the 10 strikeouts, he's looking like he's back. 4.91 ERA coming to the night, now 4.6. I think it's going to go lower. And my belief is he's going to go on a run. I've been saying this for a few weeks now. And over the course of his last few starts, he's kind of done that. He didn't do great against Pittsburgh. That was the disappointing start. That was when I was actually starting to be like, oh God, is Cease okay? We sure about this? Right? Are we sure? And then Tampa Bay, the previous game, he only went 4 1/3. But 6.2 innings against the Yankees, getting 9 Ks in that one. He gives up the 1 home run, obviously, to Cody Bellinger, which was unfortunate, if people remember that. But in this game, basically just one shot. It seems like Cease, he's one of those guys who he can have the 1 inning where he walks a batter, gives up a huge hit, and that'll be it. And then the rest of the game, he's aces. It is unfortunate sometimes that when they do make contact, it's going to be hard, which is why his ERA can get bloated. But great start from Dylan Cease. I mean, I couldn't be more thrilled with Dylan, and I think he's going to have an even better one. Not a better one, but I think he's going to have more good stretches. I am just not buying the 4.91 ERA. Could he be a low 4s? Wouldn't shock me if it's just one of those years. He's been low-key, very quietly, been a guy that goes back and forth in his ERA over the course of his career. But this is not a high 4s ERA guy. He's going to be better. He's still contract year. He's going to get you a lot of strikeouts, a lot of innings. I still believe that he is going to be great for this team, and it will be the piece that makes them a playoff caliber rotation, especially when Yu Darvish gets back. You've got Pivetta, who's been great this year, and then you've got Michael King. I have utter faith in the Padres rotation. I really do. I think it's going to be good. It's definitely a type of rotation that you can win with once you get to the playoffs. So great start from Dylan Cease. But folks, that wasn't it. No. We got to talk about some more. And we got to talk especially about the bullpen, which wasn't great. And don't worry, folks. We're going to be talking about Tatis because we love that man so much. But first, a word from one of our sponsors. And what is that sponsor, ladies and gentlemen? It is one that is for the skilled trades. Because while we got plenty of skilled old folks here on the San Diego Padres, it is a different thing entirely when it comes to the trades. Whether it be plumbing, HVAC, electrical work, whatever it is, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts, probably the amount of home runs Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to finish with in his career. From 400 plus top brands, that's more accurate. You'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. And if you need help with an order, Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service. So you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, Their free Trademaster program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trademaster program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5, a little treat bonus for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Go check it out. And just like that, everybody, we are thriving and vibing here on the Locked On Padres podcast. So Dylan Cease, we love him very much. Let's talk about the events of the rest of the game, because while Dylan Cease did give them, he gave them what they needed. Everything that they needed to win the game. Unfortunately, when he gets taken out, things don't go well. And I do want to throw out a couple things that Manny Machado, this guy's been looking great, man. This guy's been looking great. He actually got a little bit unlucky, by the way, in this game. He had a line out that went 110.4 miles per hour off the bat. Tatis was not the hardest hit ball of the night, which I found very interesting. It was actually Manny Machado with a single in the first inning, his first appearance. It was great. And then the line out was second, actually. It was 670 expected batting average on that one. So a little bit unlucky there. A little bit unlucky. And even the double play he grounded into was hit pretty hard. That was at one point in the game, and I was like, dang it. You know what I mean? Like, Arise gets on base with the single, and for you to hit into that was unfortunate. He knew it right off the bat, too. But all in all, just a great game, I think, for the Padres in a lot of ways. Jackson Merrill had a couple hits in this game as well. I thought he was going to be the hero of this game. I really, really did. I thought he was going to be a hero because he had a couple balls that off the bat looked like they're home runs. And I think part of this is just because we're so spoiled by Jackson Merrill at this point, right? And he did get a little bit unlucky. He had 2 flyouts in this game, one with a 470 expected batting average and one with a 710. So Jackson Merrill still hitting the ball real well, folks. Do not mistake about that. The only bad moment from Merrill does come in this game when he does strike out on 3 pitches. And that's the other thing, is the Padres tied this game in a not very clutch way, which is a lot of weird stuff. Gavin Sheets does get a single in this game that allows a run to score, but it was like a weird bloop single that went into like no man's land kind of for the Angels infield. Shortstop was playing a little bit in, so it does drop in for the Padres, but whatever, who cares? I'll take that stuff, you know what I mean? And we've talked about Gavin Sheets a lot on this podcast. Like, I do believe he's been a good contributing player for this team, but after Merrill struck out, for that to be what comes through for the Padres is very funny. And small little thing, I don't know if you guys noticed on the broadcast, Manny, like, Tatis waved him home, like, you should try and score too, off that Gavin Sheets blooper, and he doesn't go for it, because Manny, not particularly all that fast, as many of you might know, but really funny, I don't know if I was the only one, seeing him, like, run back to third base. It just looked really funny on the TV. It wasn't quite like the Pete Alonso video from a few weeks back where he was running like just such a big teddy bear, polar bear guy to third base. But Manny scrambling to get back to third just looked really funny to me. Please leave a comment if you guys also found it funny seeing him get back to third base, just in case they threw him out, right? And then what happens after that is Xander Bogaerts draws a walk, which was great. We love that very much. Oh, I'm sorry. No, after that, it was a wild pitch that allows Manny Machado to score. It was the at-bat against Xander Bogaerts, which is great. Because Lord knows Xander Bogaerts has not been a player that we've been able to trust too much in the clutch this season. So instead they said, don't worry about it. So yes, the Padres do get the score here, basically because of the Angels falling apart. But again, I don't really care, because the Padres just need to get some wins right now. You just need to have a nice, good win streak, I think. And just to have that happen was very fortunate. I actually thought Manny was going to be out for a second, but thankfully, bang, bang play. The guy isn't able to hold on to the ball anyway. Absolutely taking advantage of some bad defensive positioning, bad moments, bad pitch decisions by the Angels. They ended up walking Bogaerts, so he did do something when it was in now a low leverage situation, and they even got a walk from Jake Cronenworth. But then Jason Hayward struck out swinging. I actually got a tweet from my guy, David Lamper, who said, time to end the Hayward experiment. Can we trade Leota DeVries and some crap and get O'Neal Cruz of the Pittsburgh Pirates? Really fun idea, I will say it. I doubt that the Pirates are trading that guy because he's got crazy amount of years in service time, and Leota DeVries is kind of like the player that they like the player, like, you don't trade O'Neal Cruz when that's what you hope prospects become into. Now, don't get me wrong, O'Neal Cruz struggling at points this year. Again, appreciate you writing in, David Lamper, but I do think that O'Neal Cruz, while his offense is amazing, let me tell you, he is disastrous defensively. Like, pretty horrid. And the last time I checked, he was at one point, he was even worse than this, but he's got -7 defensive runs saved. Like, he's bad, man. Like, he's bad in the outfield. But whatever. I get your point. I just don't think the Pirates do it when this is a guy still in arbitration. It just doesn't make sense. I think that the Padres in left field, we are going to see some changes. I appreciate that Jason Hayward has had a couple nice at-bats for this team this year, but he's still a sub-200 batting average guy. He might even be closer to a below 500 OPS guy at this point. After this latest stretch. But he does provide some defense. He's a veteran. I get it. It's fine. But I do believe at some point, whether it be Tirso or Nellis, whether it be a trade for some decent outfielder, not even someone who has to be particularly great, but I think they can go cheap and just go out and get Jesus Sanchez from the Marlins or something like that, right? I think that that's the route they may go. But whatever, Jason Hayward, he's just here for now. We'll see what happens. I just don't think that this Padres team is fully set and that it's going to look the same once we get to especially the trade deadline. Not just because it's Adrian Preller, but just in general, I think that they are planning on making some additions and changes. So we'll see how that goes. And then let me tell you, we got to talk about the bullpen, because the Padres bullpen, I talked about it yesterday. I talked about it, I think, on Friday. I've talked about it a lot. Ever since the Yankees series, maybe it's the weather change, maybe it's the vibe change, maybe it's just being a road trip, the Padres bullpen has been very, very bad lately. And after Dylan Cease gets taken out of this game, it's not like it was someone that we can attribute the failure to just being, that's one of the leverage guys, Wandy Peralta, maybe Alec Jacob even to a degree. Instead, it was Jeremiah Estrada who came into this game and really, really struggled. I will say that Jeremiah Estrada did have a period last year when he was rough. Now, I do think that was because he was battling a little bit of an injury, but Estrada comes into the game and blows it wide open, basically, like just completely falls apart. And I don't want to react too much to this, because here's his appearances before this. He had 1 inning, 3 strikeouts, 2 outs, gave up one run. It wasn't earned, whatever. Then before that, he had a strikeout. Before that, he had 2. Before that, he had 3. Before that, he had 2. 1, 2, 1. Like, he's a really good pitcher, man. And a 2.75 ERA to go along with a 0.97 whip is not bad. I just think that this Padres bullpen is regressing. But it is worth pointing out that it seems like this Padres bullpen, they all got together and said, like, hey, you want to blow the game tonight? Yeah, your turn, man. Your turn. Yeah. Like, it's been frustrating to see over the course of the last week. Estrada, Suarez's nightmare appearance the other day. Jason Adam, Wandy Peralta. The only one that hasn't really like had a oh my god moment is Yuki Matsui, which is very funny considering that Yuki Matsui, arguably the player that had the most oh my god moments last year. I bring that up because I think Yuki Matsui was the most talented out of the players who struggled last year. His advanced peripherals say that nobody can hit a splitter, all that type of stuff. And then he's been the one that just hasn't had that moment this year. I actually am curious to see. I would not be shocked if at some point, depending on how things shake up, I still love Adams, still love Estrada, still love Suarez. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him get some more late inning work if he keeps pitching the way he does. And the way he's been pitching this year has been nothing short of exemplary, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, he's going to have some moments where he gives up some bombs, right? He does make some bad decisions, I think, when he is pitching. And then Adrian Monajon, another pitcher, by the way, 3.5 ERA. His FIP is 2.11, though. Shout out to him. Yuki Matsui, though, 2.12 ERA. He's got a 3.23 FIP. It's just funny that he's been the most consistent guy on this team. He's basically only had like one bad outing. And by the way, very quietly, Yuki Matsui, I know we're going on a tangent here, but 32.3% strikeout rate. A big increase from the 26.8%, which wasn't bad from last year. Love Yuki very, very much. But anyway, look, AJ Casaval tweeted it of MLB Network right when it happened. But after that home run was given up, he said a week ago the Padres had the best bullpen ERA in the majors by a mile, which is why I thought, yeah, things are going to get worse. You cannot count in baseball on historical things happening. It's always going to be random when it happens. Yes, people like the Guardians bullpen. They didn't think it would be as historically good as it was last year. You can't predict that. The Seattle Mariners, yes, pretty good team. No one thought after losing A-Rod and Griffey and Edgar being older and Randy Johnson that they would be the team to win the most games in Major League Baseball history. No one thought that Aaron Judge would do what he did. Pete Alonso would break the rookie home run record. These things just kind of happen. But let me tell you, Padres had the best bullpen in the ERA in the majors. San Francisco was the only team that was close. And since then, they have allowed 30 runs in the last 15 and 2/3 innings pitched. Wow. I mean, that's pretty bad. We're going to keep talking about it, and then we're going to get to the main event, our boy, Fernando Tatis Jr., in just a second. But first, we got to take a second to hear from our sponsors. And just like that, everybody, we are back here thriving and most certainly vibing here on the Locked On Padres podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Again, one more time, let me just tell you guys, follow me on Twitter/X and Blue Sky at Javipeno, Javiipeno. The moment you've been waiting for, folks. Because while the Padres bullpen did blow it, and then, like I said, Yuki Matsui came in and was pretty good. Jason Adam, they did keep the damage down. You had that crazy wild pitch inning. I had this feeling where I was like, I loved that wild pitch inning, while yes, they didn't necessarily put the bat on the ball to drive in the runs. You didn't have the big go-ahead bomb or anything like that. What was great about it, and what will always be great, is getting back to the top of this lineup where we've got Tatis, we've got Machado, we've got Merrill. And what happens in this one, right? What happens? I had a feeling. I really did. Elias Diaz drawing a walk, and Kenley Jansen, who has not been very good for the Angels thus far this year. And in fairness, Kenley Jansen, this isn't even a roast. This man's been good for so long, right? He's been good for so long, and now he's on the Angels. I don't know why the Angels paid him, because, again, this team should be rebuilding. I don't get what they're doing. But he comes in, and I was like, Tatis is going to do it. And I'm not just saying that because he ended up doing it. I'm not. I'm really not. But he comes in, and what I love, and my buddy Aram Layton pointed this out too, by the way, is that Tatis actually had a bit of a leg kick in this one. And remember that Tatis has kind of gone away from his leg kick, I should say. And instead he did that. And Aram Layton pointed out where you can actually see him lift the leg, never mind, plant it, and then put his full force into the ball. As he pointed out, the lower half control here is outrageous. If he's able to hang out like that without losing his back hip, he can pretty much be ready for any type of velo while being adjustable to anything else. He has an OPS of over 1,000 against both fastballs, 90 plus mile per hour, and spin. It's just like the adjustment he's able to make by being set faster. It's just amazing that you could literally see him leg kick up, and he said, oh, never mind, then put it down, and then put his bat into the ball, hits a moonshot, he admires it. I really do believe, I'm going to say it, I mean, this isn't that bold. Yes, Shohei Ohtani is the most famous player in baseball. No doubt. I really do believe, and again, this is not a shot at Shohei, this isn't a shot at any player, frankly. I don't think anyone's better at seizing the moment the way Fernando Tatis Jr. does. I alluded to that Astros home run. Go watch that clip again. Right? When he hits the shot, there's just something about him where he knows what to do. He's just cool. Let's just say it. Like, that's the easy way to put it. He's just cool. And for him to do this, he admires the shot. He loves it. It's just a work of art. First walk-off home run. He's had walk-off hits before, but first walk-off home run of his career. It can't be beat. It can't be beat. And yes, Fernando Tatis Jr., while I don't think this is something that we should all start yelling about, it's not that I don't care. I'm just like, whatever, it's fine. The MVP race in the National League is between him and Corbin Carroll right now. Yes, I understand Pete Crow Armstrong is right behind them. He's been, for some reason, absolutely incredible. And it's basically his first full rookie season. But that's my thing. He's a rookie. I don't think that's going to last forever. I think he's a very good player, though. Shouts to Pete Crow Armstrong. But 259 average and a 302 on base, that ain't gonna do it. You know what I mean? He's been hitting timely home runs and playing phenomenal defense. He might already be the best outfield defender in baseball. But you've got Tatis and Corbin Carroll, right? 160 WRC plus for Fernando Tatis Fernando Tatis Jr., and then 162 for Corbin Carroll. Tatis's defense has been a little bit better. He's one of the only players in all of Major League Baseball. Only one of the only players in Major League Baseball to be a positive player, not just defensively, but also offensively. That's pretty crazy, right? In terms of both batting run value and fielding run value. That's it. He's the only player in the 98th percentile in all of Major League Baseball in both of those things. And he's made some really great defensive plays this year. Yeah, yesterday, there was a home run given up. Or was it yesterday? I forgot. Or maybe was it Sunday? I think it was Sunday. He made a great defensive catch. Yes, a home run was given up by Pivetta right after that, but he really is he's on another level. And to see him doing this, especially after these last few years, in which last year he just struggled at times, but he still put up a 135 WRC plus. But last year he only played 102 games. That was one of his issues. And then the year before, he was a good player, primarily because he won a platinum glove. He was just that good defensively, but he did struggle, right? Like, he's had some moments these past few years. And I do not think, while I do think that there is a good percentage of people who were being like haters and naysayers and bringing up the steroid thing and all that stuff as if they care. That's the other thing, guys. I promise you, fans don't actually care that much about steroids. I really don't believe they do. I think, yes, it's obviously it's suspendable and all that stuff. I just think sometimes when people bring it up, I'm like, you guys don't care that much. You know, as my guy John Boys would say in the History of the Seattle Mariners doc, it's like complaining about the cheating sometimes in sports is like saying you disapprove of the actions of Darth Vader. It's like, stop. You guys don't mind this nearly as much as you claim you do. And I think that with Tatis, what you're seeing here is just the full ultimate, coalescence into the player that we always thought he could be, and the player that at time he's shown. He's not getting lucky. He's got an expected weight on base of 424, right? Like, he's been unbelievable this year. But what I love about him is he's cut down on his strikeouts so dramatically. His strikeout rate before this in his career was 24.4% in total. Last year it was 21.9, year before that 22. And his last good season, he was striking out a lot. And his walk rate, not the best it's ever been, but 9.4% is the best it's been basically since 2021. And what I've seen from Tatis this year is the plate approach. And the fact that he is just so... it was hard for me to explain this on an audio medium, right? It's hard unless you just see it. But do you know how crazy it is that he has enough time to adjust for the leg kick, say never mind, plant it, and then put his hips back into the ball? That is something that doesn't happen, guys. Guys aren't able to adjust their swing path and their route to the ball mid pitch. That is another level of athleticism and talent. It is such a treat that this team not only has Fernando Tatis Jr., but also Jackson Merrill, and they just happen to have an established superstar who's probably going to be a Hall of Famer, and Manny Machado too. It is so heartwarming every time I watch moments like this, a Tuesday night basically sellout crowd. You had a sellout crowd last night. It is such a privilege, not just to cover this team, but to cover this team that is transforming. You feel it every night. People love this team. And while, yes, it was a tough offseason for us, right? It really was. You had the Shield Siler lawsuit. You had the fact that Roki Sasaki went to the Dodgers. You had the fact that Jurickson Profar went away. What I think this was a reminder of is that this Padres team, Tatis really is the guy. Right, like when it's all said and done, they're going to name streets after this man. I'm serious. Like, this is just the type of player. It's not just that he's good at baseball. That's what's the important thing here. It's not just that he's good at baseball. It's that he is amazing to watch. He's exciting. He's got this amazing, view to him. Someone actually reached out to me on Twitter. Who was it? Who actually was it that reached out? My guy Kaz, he said, hey, I know I missed the mailbag yesterday, but this just came to mind, and you could let me know your thoughts. Did Tatis look sad or dehydrated or drained from yesterday's game? This was going on Twitter a lot, and yeah, I saw it. Like, there was a video of him in the dugout looking like he's by himself. He's just drinking a smoothie. Look, me personally, I think he's just got college kid vibes, where he's just like, I'm just having snacks and stuff like that sometimes, and that's fine. It was just a weird game. Maybe he was just a little bit annoyed. Maybe he wasn't in the best of moods. It happens. It's a long season. And what does he do? He rounds that third base and he does that little stutter step that he likes doing, but he jumps into the air, banks his arms. I'm going to watch that 100 times. He was pumped up. It's just having Tatis on this team. Forget the ownership stuff, man. I just think that like it's the type of athlete, and on top of that, you also have Jackson Merrill, who I think it really is like that dude too. For you to have all of this, it's like this team's going to be good for a while. And I actually, it makes me not worried about this team's future. I'm not just talking about on the field. I just think like they're selling out every game. You're not going to stop this. Like this is just who they're going to be. And it's amazing, amazing, amazing to watch. And San Diego fans deserve a lot of credit too. I can't wait to maybe even meet a couple of you guys as I visit this week. Just a privilege, man. Just a privilege. I love it. It was a blast. Absolutely love it. There's not much more else to say. It was an amazing moment, and the Padres needed that, I think, especially given the fact that this episode today was going to be red alert, raise the alarms, send DeVries, and send all of our draft picks away. We got to remake the bullpen, right? And instead, it is about Tatis. And I love that we also got the good Dylan Cease start. You know what I mean? Like, great game, man. I mean, what else could you ask for? That about does it, though, for today's recap and celebration in my weird white blanket that I decided to wear for whatever reason. I don't really know why. I just thought it'd be different. I don't know. Next time I should probably wear like a Padres like robe or hood or something like that. We'll see. But folks, tomorrow's episode, stay tuned for that one. We're going to be talking about my biggest surprises for the San Diego Padres season thus far. I recorded this episode a little bit early. It's still mostly good, but there's a thing about Robert Suarez there that I still basically stand by for the most part, that I'm just letting you guys know that I recorded that on like Sunday, I believe it was, or Sunday night, you know, late night, just to have it ready for you guys when this was being done as I get prepared for my flight and stuff. So look forward to that episode on Thursday. And then Friday is going to be a crossover with Ty Dan Gonzalez of Locked On Mariners to preview the series, a series of which, if you guys haven't heard, I will be in attendance for at least one of the games. Can't wait for all that. Good vibes, everybody. Very good vibes indeed. And with that all being said, until next time, stay safe and of course, stay faithful, my Friar Faithful homies. Take care.